Hey folks, I'm Joe, and today on Big Fast Customs, we drag out the Sloppy Speedster, and we do some of this. And we get to do some of this. And we do some of this. And we're gonna wrap it all up talking about the future of the project and some big changes. Stick around. Folks, welcome back, and I am happy to say that until my wife tells me otherwise, I've got the whole weekend to work on the Sloppy Speedster, and I plan to get it done this time. I've got an entire table of goodies back here, everything I think I need to get it going, and I've got the car pulled out, so yeah, I'm hoping we can get this up and driving around the block by the end of the weekend. If you're new to the channel, welcome. I appreciate you stopping in. Don't forget to like and subscribe. But I'll give you a quick run around of the Speedster, where it's at right now. The last time anyone saw this, I was working on the cowl. I got a little bit further, but you guys can see clearly it's not done. I've got a lot of work still to do, but it is mounted down for now. It's solid. It holds the steering column, which was really what we needed. So that's going to be good for now. I'm not going to be finishing this right now, and we'll talk about that later on in the video. I've got the hood is just sitting on there. I'll probably just take it off before we go for any rides. But other than that, the chassis itself is the same way it was when you guys saw me take it around the yard about a year ago. I haven't even started the engine since then, but today we're gonna get started with the brakes. I know the fronts have no brakes in them at all. I took them out when I got it because the wheels didn't turn. The rear, some of you might remember, we changed out the rear in this car because the original one had some serious problems. I have no idea what's inside the hubs for that. So maybe it's got brakes that need linings. Maybe it has nothing. I don't know. I have the original axle tubes that still have all the brake parts. And I've got a whole bunch of brake parts here and some new linings here. All the tools for the rivets and everything. So we should be in good shape. Like I said, the plan is by the end of the weekend to have this going around the block. But let me throw you guys on a tripod. We'll get it jacked up, get the wheels off, and we'll get started. So hopefully this will end in victory. All right, folks. So I've already got the wheels and the hubs off. Nothing too dramatic. Like I said, I've already had them off once to pull all the brakes out. Everything looks good, or usable at least. I did already build some new brakes. I had all these spare parts in the garage, so I just built these, painted everything up, and made sure everything was moving smoothly, and we'll use these. We'll just swap them out for this. Shouldn't be too difficult. By the way, guys, I'm using a new microphone. Hopefully it works better than the last one. So if you notice any problems, let me know. But if any of you use an external microphone on your GoPro, and one of the things I hate about them is you're going to hear me breathing. So when I'm working on stuff, you're going to hear like breathing and just ridiculousness. And I would love to not do that. So if you guys have any suggestions, I would love to hear those. But we'll see how it turns out. I've got the camera down low. Hopefully you guys can see everything going on. I'll find out later when I edit it if any of this footage is useful. But basically there's 4 bolts that hold on this ring and the backing plate. And then there's a rod that runs through. Oh, everything's a different size. That's neat. All the bolts are a different size. There's a rod that runs through the kingpin that actuates your brakes. So we've got to pay attention to that. But it's a pretty simple process to get all this stuff off. All right, so pop that off. And see if I can get this rod back up in here. There we go. Okay, we're going to do some cleaning, but so that's the actuating rod that goes underneath. We'll grease that up and put it back in. Let's see, does it look okay? Yeah, it doesn't look too worn, so should be fine. We'll just stuff that back in there. Let's do a little bit of cleaning around this edge. I've got some different bolts to put it back on with because these ones were all different sizes. And one of them was all marred up. Threads were bad. So, got new bolts. We'll use those. Get some of this garbage off of here. If you guys didn't notice already, my kingpins are pretty loose. And we'll fix that at another time. I know the brakes will have to come back off again to do that, but that's fine. I'll deal with that later. Not a big deal. We've got some big changes coming up for the car, but you will have to wait till the end of the video to find out about some of those. Let me grab some cleaner. Good old brake clean. Just kind of get all the old grease and stuff off of here. Okay. We're going to put the brake rod. We've got some grease. Let's see this side. Just going to slobber a bunch of grease on it. Shove it back up in there. And it stays. Good. So now we'll put our backing plates on. And to do that, get all the grease off my hands. Just kind of make sure that we get it down around that rod. And there the rod comes out, good. And we've got a new, well, a repainted ring to put on it. Let me go clean up some bolts. All right, I've got some cleaned up bolts. Let's see if we can't get these in here nice and easy. That was easy. That was also easy. So it looks like we're doing good. How did I do that? I missed. I could just be stupid. Probably just stupid. There we go. Okay, so we got the backing plates on, brakes are all in place. We can see that they're moving. So the next thing we need to do is clean up our bearings. I've had them soaking in some gasoline just to clean off the old grease. Let's get those cleaned up and get them back in place. Bearings look good. I don't see any stress on the cage, so I think we're in good shape. Let this dry for a minute and then we'll pack it with some fresh grease. And I think the last part I have in here is the outer washer. Yep. And that's just simple. Wipe it down, clean it up. Easy enough. Okay, so let me move this out of the way. And we'll put on some rubber gloves. And we'll pack the bearings. Okay, I'm going to put that bearing back in. Grab the drum. I'm going to put a little extra grease up inside here. And on it goes. So far, so good. Let's do the other bearing. Okay, that's in. I've made quite a mess. That feels good. Let me grab a cotter pin and then we'll adjust the brakes a bit off of here. And now we can start our brake adjustment. So right now I don't feel any drag. That seems pretty good. I can still turn it. Okay, so basically all I did was, there's a whole process if you've got a full Model A so that you can get everything equalized. And once I get all the rods and stuff on there, we'll be able to do it a little bit better with some help of somebody pushing the brake. There's a tool you can make with a 2x4 to adjust everything, but for right now, all I do is I adjust the brakes. I can feel a little bit of a drag. Not really a drag, but I can feel the shoes are close to the drum. I know when I pull on it, they lock up. And once I get the tire on, when they're locked up, I can't turn it, even when I force it. Then we'll call it good for start and we can adjust them more later. So that's really it for the fronts. We'll add the brake rods later because those have to also be adjusted. And let's move on to the rears. All right, folks, so I had to stop, went to dinner, picked up some stuff that the wife needed, and I'm on to the rears. but before I left, I pulled the drum off the other side, and we possibly have one of those, we might need to put it back together and pretend like we didn't see it issues. I'm gonna pull this one off to see if it's in the same condition, but I'll show you what's happening on the other side here in a minute. Let's try and get this one off. That came off easier than expected. It actually pulled off easy too. So I actually have two different wheel pullers. This is the newer one. I ordered this one from one of the Model A parts houses. But I also have this style. This kind of clamps onto the hub, and then again you tighten the nut here to pull the hub off. This one seems to be working, at least for now. And that's it. That's as far as we can go. Oh, there's actually a washer in there, so maybe I can go a little bit further. But it looks like it's pulling on the brakes. I might be able to get it off. It looks like the brakes are kind of hanging. There we go. All right. Yeah, I've got the same problem on both sides. Let me get a rag right here, and I'll show you guys what I've got. So the keyways that are in here look to be not original. I think somebody put these in here and they've been moving. Actually, this one doesn't look as bad. The other side is quite grooved out, but I have some new keyways. Let's check the one on the other side was definitely the wrong size. Yeah, I don't know if that comes in very good, but the keyway they use is definitely a lot smaller. Let's see. So on this side, it's much better than it is on the other side. Could actually, yeah, so that looks a lot better. That's in there tight. Probably will fit in the hub just fine. On the other side, it is quite wallowed out. So I would need a new axle. Let me grab you off the tripod. I'll show you what's going on. Okay, so we're on the other side here. And I don't know if you can see that very well, but that keyway is definitely worn. This is the key that was, this was the key that was in there. You can see it's got a lot of wear on the side of it. So it's been moving around in there, and if I put it in here, it's just way too small. If I put in a new one, it's also pretty loose. So I think I'm gonna put it back together like this and hope for the best. Honestly, it'll probably break, but I do have another rear end I could swap out. I know that rear end has no brakes on it. So my plan is redo these brakes, get these working. We'll put this back together with at least the right keyway in it. It's a little loose, but hopefully that'll hold it together good. And then we'll give it a try. When we gotta swap out the rear end, I'll swap the new brakes onto the other rear end. But these threads aren't looking great either, so I don't know if it'll even hold enough force to torque that back down, but we'll give it a try. Let me move some stuff around and we'll get to work. Okay. And that's how you do rear brakes. Did you miss it? That's because I didn't do it. You saw I took apart the other side. The keyway on the other side was a lot better, but the axle was still cracked in that area. So both axles need to be replaced. Also the seals on that side were leaking. The whole brake shoes were soaked with gear oil, so it really doesn't make a lot of sense to do the rear brakes on it. I'm gonna have to change the whole axle out anyways, and I'm not gonna do that right now. So I basically cleaned everything up, put the correct size keys in there, tightened everything down. The hubs are tight, so that's good, but we're gonna be running with just front brakes for now. It's getting late, so it looks like I'm done for the day. I'm probably gonna put the front brake rods on just to get some more done today, but it's getting too dark for you guys to really see it. Tomorrow we'll start on the floor and getting the seat in, and then hopefully get to take it for a ride. So I'll see you guys tomorrow morning. All right, folks, it's day 2 trying to get the Speedster running. You can tell it's day 2 because I'm wearing the same shirt. Last night I got the brake rods on the car, super simple. I needed to adjust the one that went from the brake pedal to the rest of the system. Other than that, everything went on smooth. I also made a template for the floor. We're gonna make a simple plywood floor for it. So we're gonna get started cutting that out. Then we'll get it on the car, drill it out for existing frame holes, and try to get everything mounted back up. So let's get this done. All right, so we have the floor and the seat mounted in. Yes, that is an old pallet, but everything is nice and secure, good enough for a test drive. I did make some mistakes on this floor. I think it was a little crooked when I drilled the holes. You can see on this side, the floor goes all the way to the edge of the body. On that side, I've got a gap, which means I also had to trim some more around the clutch pedal. So I'm not sure how I messed that up, but I did make the template at like 11 o'clock at night in the dark, so maybe that had something to do with it. But everything seems to be pretty solid. I've got the, I knocked the rods out of the sides of the hood, so the hood's mounted on, or the hood top is mounted on. Brake rods, like I said, are already done. So basically all I need to do is put in a battery, finish hooking the motor back up, and a gas tank, and we should be able to take this for a ride. I was going to put my stainless steel tank on here, but to do that I have to have a pump and a regulator, and I have the pump, but I can't find my regulator, and the auto parts store was out of them. So I think I'm just going to use my little motorcycle or bicycle gas tank that I usually use when I'm running these things around, and that should be good enough just to get me up and down the street. But we're almost there, so let me get a coil on this, some wiring, battery, gas tank, water, then we should be good to go. It's looking good. Okay, we got everything put in. I've got the minimum tank here. It is leaking some gas, but let's see. This thing hasn't been started in a year, so let's see if it will start up. Let's take it out of gear. Almost. She's trying. And she died. Let's turn that down. All right, well, she's running, and we know she moves because I had it in gear when I started it. But let's see if I can pull out of the carport and use the brakes. Brakes kind of work. They're not great. Nope, they need more adjustment. Brakes definitely need more adjustment. They work. And then it dies. The Speedster is completely titled and insured. So let's go. Come on, you. Alright. Well, battery's dead. Is it out of gear? Yeah, just enjoy the roll while we can. Brakes definitely need a good adjustment. Shifter is probably more my fault than the car, but she went around the neighborhood a few times. Battery died. And we're home. All right, folks, so there you go. We actually took the Sloppy Speedster finally around the block a few times. It wasn't the greatest first test drive. Still got a lot of issues. The brakes are still needing quite a bit of adjustment. The carburetor is still not great. It was like that a year ago, but still needs some work. And I definitely need some practice driving a non-synchronized transmission. So I was doing good at first, and then I was having some problems even when I tried to double clutch, but you know, all things we can play with later. But if you were watching this and thinking, man, he's cutting a lot of corners, this is becoming a mess, you're not wrong. I did cut a lot of corners because I told you earlier in the video some things are going to change, and yeah, basically everything is going to change. I've been away for a little while. I got really busy with work and personal stuff, so I had to, cars and YouTube had to be put to the side. But during that time, I was still thinking about my projects and how I wanted things to turn out. And the more I thought about the Speedster, the less I really was excited to get it done. It's cool, I do like it, but when I think of a Model A, you know, something I can take around town to a car show or something like that, I think of a car with a body on it, not just a cowl. And this cowl's a mess anyway. So basically what I decided was the body is coming off of this, the floor, the seats, basically most of what we did in this video, the cowl, the hood, and I am going to swap it with the 2829 body I have over here on the side. It was going to be the next project. That project, I originally thought I would do like a small block Chevy, channeled down and everything like that. But the more I thought about it, that car, it's got the original subframe and floor still in it. So it's in pretty good shape. It's got some patches on it, but overall for a nearly 100-year-old car, it's in pretty good shape. And I thought, if I cut the subframe and everything out, it's my car, I can do whatever I want. But it's just kind of a shame to cut the floor out of that car when there's so many with rotted out floors that I could do the whole, you know, channeled on the frame hot rod. So I figured I've already got the chassis and the motor for the Sloppy Speedster. We'll just pop the cowl off, throw the new body on, and we'll just move forward from there. So the next video is probably going to be tearing this back down and getting the body fitted on here. Now, this is a 3031 chassis, and that is a 2829 body. I might have to drill a couple holes to mount the body. Shouldn't be too bad. The biggest headache will be the radiator. The 31 radiator will probably stay on here for now, just while I'm playing around with it. I do have 2829 radiators, but I also have a reproduction 32 grill shell that I would like to fit on the car. So hopefully I can get a shorter radiator and not have to modify the cross member or anything, but everything else should go fairly smooth. But yeah, that's basically the original idea for the Sloppy Speedster, was to take this piece of junk and get it running again. I mean, I paid about, I think it was 150 bucks for this thing, and I've put a lot more money into it. But you know, I started kind of letting the project get away from me. I never really intended to have a speedster that I was going to hang on to. So it just seems like a logical thing for me to do, to put this body on here and already have a head start on that project. So the overall idea for that project is going to be basically kind of like a car that a kid had in the 50s, where it was a piece of junk thrown together from whatever, and he was driving it to work or wherever, and when he had time and he had money, he would do little improvements on it. So I want to get the body on here, get it kind of solid, and then we can do little improvements on it. We can do that on the channel. I've got a lot of parts and a lot of things planned. Everything from ignition, carburetor, exhaust, maybe transmission. I mean, I've got really a lot of stuff. So I think it'd be cool to kind of have this as like an ongoing project, and with the body on it instead of just the cowl and the open air out here. But I really thought I would start this video just saying we're done with the Speedster, we're going to jump onto this other body, but I didn't feel good about that. I really wanted to complete this project, and that meant at least getting it around the block here, and I'm happy that we finally did that. It didn't take that much. It took most of the weekend, but it really needs more. But yeah, I'm happy with it. We got it around the block, and you know, it was fun to drive it around a little bit. But it's time. I'm gonna pull all this stuff off, and we're gonna put on the other body, and we're gonna move forward with that. But let me grab the camera, and I'll take you over and show you the other body, so you know what you're gonna see the next time we take apart the Speedster. All right, folks, so here is the 2829 body. You probably saw this in one of my other old videos. The doors are absolutely horrible. They didn't come with the body. I got those doors somewhere along the line. Had just been sitting in the carport. The body came without doors on it, so I just slapped them on there. They're gonna need a lot of work. But the body itself, you can see it's got some patchwork and stuff in here. But, you know, overall, it's in pretty good shape. The subframe's still here. The floor is mostly here. I think it would look really good to drop this body on the Speedster chassis and start from here. So it'll most likely just be the body at first. I do want the 32 grill shell, and I would like the top of the hood to match up with it. So that'll be, you know, part of the project that we work on. But first things first, next time we get out the Speedster, we'll tear it apart. We'll get this body picked up and put on the frame, and hopefully bolted down, and then we can go from there. But that is the plan. I hope you guys don't mind that the Speedster is, let's just say it's going away for a little while. I'm not throwing away the floor we made. I'm not throwing away the cowl or anything. Maybe it's gonna find its way onto something else later on. But for now, I really wanna move forward with this. And it kind of combines two projects into one, so it cuts down on my pile of projects that I haven't finished. So guys, that's about it. I hope you enjoyed the episode. I know there was a lot of corners cut, but I hope now you understand why I didn't want to put a ton of effort into something that we're going to take apart again later. So hopefully in the next video, make sure you like and subscribe. You get to see us put this body on the Speedster chassis and move forward with the project. So guys, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. I'll see you soon.